My camera was not recording when I mounted this on. It's a chunk of sycamore that I got from my friend who happens to live in the house that my husband's grandparents built, and the sycamore tree had been growing in that front yard since he was a kid. So it's kind of neat. I have a ton of it, which I'm so grateful and thankful for. I've already started roughing it out. Can't go very fast because of it being so wonky. But anyways, I'm gonna mount my camera back up here and hopefully keep this thing recording. I put it on a faceplate and I had to take it out with a chainsaw and just kind of get some spots that were hitting the bed. It is every bit of everything this lathe can handle. So anyways, I'm gonna get this camera back up here and hopefully capture some of the process. I feel like it's starting to get punky. It's been sitting in my shop, let's see, since June or July, I guess. So anyways, it's like at 21% still. It's not completely bone dry. Throughout this project, I had changed my mind on how I was going to approach each and every complication, I guess I could say, differently. I didn't really anticipate the piece to be as punky as it was. So when I started turning, I had it in my mind that I was just going to kind of rough turn it and then let it sit for a week or two and then go through and do a final cut on it. But because it was dry enough to turn and complete the turn, I decided after, getting into it some more that I would do that. But as that decision was developing, so was the horrible punkiness, and I couldn't turn my lathe up faster than 420 was most of the time, and then even after hollowed out, I think I could only get 475. And I can understand that at the very beginning because it was so unbalanced, but it was just a horrible wobble. So I couldn't get to a speed that would be good enough to cut through that punky without having such bad tear out. Because of the out of balance and the wobbling, I'm getting like a speed bump in that area, and I'm just trying to smooth it out the best I can, so it won't be as pronounced, I guess, when I go to sand. It's not in the whole bowl all the way around, so that's why I have to keep it running in order to feel for it, because it's only in like 3/4 or half of the bowl, and the other half is nice and smooth because it's wobbling out like towards me. So I'm using super glue I get at Walmart in the automotive section. because for a pack of 5 is only like 97 cents or $1.97. I can't recall. And plus I ran out of thin CA. So I'm using the super glue and rubbing the shavings in it to help kind of fill those areas that are punky with shavings. So when I go with my shear cut, it will help to fill it, because it was a lot punkier than what I thought. I almost was thinking that this is just going to be way too much work to sand and finish. But I hung with it, and she hung with me. When I use a tenon instead of a mortise, I take my diamond point tool that I made with my just a regular screwdriver. I just ground it into a point and put like a negative rake, I guess, on the top and bottom side. So that way it gives me a guide hole, so when I flip it back around to take the tenon off, the tailstock helps to line it up. I'm thinking right now about how nice it would be to have one of those bowl saver cutters. I could at least have 2 or 3 more bowls out of that big old bowl. But oh well, maybe one of these days. Again, now I'm using the medium CA glue to try to help fill that punkiness. And after I did this, I realized, oh my gosh, this tear out is bad. Like, it's just bad. So instead of scraping it all down, I figured, well, let me sand it to help maybe keep some of that dust that I put in there. And that didn't work. It just was, I was just going to be sanding forever. So I decided to salvage what I could of the piece. I mixed Total Boat Fast Hardener with about 50% acetone and coated it really, really good, saturated it all those punky areas, and then just let it sit overnight. It's kind of, stabilizing it, because as the acetone evaporates, then the resin's left there hardened, but it helps it to seep in a little better. So I'll show you a clip here next of a close-up of exactly what I'm talking about as far as the punkiness goes. It's really deep, and then the super glue stained the wood. It lightened the wood in those areas. So if I had to do it over again, I would just skip the super glue part and just put the resin all over it, let it dry, come back, and then do a final scrape just to kind of level that off. It was just the grain was just being ripped out so badly that it was impossible. So I lived and learned for this turn. Like I said, if I could do it differently, I would just put the resin on it and be done. I had to fill some areas that were really deep with the black Starbond, which is nice because it matched a little bit of the spalting that was going on, and then some areas it just accentuated the punkiness. It seemed like one thing after another with this, I was just making the wrong decision. And a lot of that was part because I was trying to get it completed the first day, and I was trying to do things that would prevent me from having to make this project last the whole weekend and just a one-day project. Well, it refused. So I still love the bowl. I'm not happy about the stains that the glue made in it, but it's still a big, beautiful bowl, and I'm gonna gift it to someone I know that will absolutely love it. Right now I'm using denatured alcohol to wipe it all down and clean it off really good before I start to make my decision on what finish I'm going to use. Instead of using my hand to work the abrasive paste around, because this is such a big bowl, I decided I'd just use the 400 grit sandpaper, the grass sandpaper I last used on it, and use that to work the abrasive paste around. And it was a lot faster, a lot easier, and I feel like it got it way smooth. So that's a tip for you in case you got a huge project, you don't feel like my arms are so worn out from this already, from all the sanding and everything. So I was just trying to make the finishing of this as painless as possible. If you apply a paste wax or polish wax, make sure you run it over with a clean paper towel until you no longer have anything left on your paper towel. Otherwise, the next finish you use is going to build unevenly and maybe possibly not at all. So I've had people ask about that, and I just wanted to share that real quick. Sorry, my memory card got full while I was doing the outside of it. But here we are. And this is right after the abrasive paste. It's beautiful, it has a nice, smooth, slightly shiny. This is where I'm torn because I don't know what I want to do for a finish. It's no longer technically food safe because I put resin in it in order to stiffen up. And you can kind of see, I don't like how that, I think that's from the super glue I had to put on there to stiffen up. What are you gonna do? It is what it is. There is no sanding that out. So now I'm just like, what am I gonna do for a finish? I think I'll probably just put paste on it, paste wax. Probably a couple coats to see how that builds. And guess that's what I'll do. See where that hole really helps take the fuss out of trying to line it up. Maybe a little uneven because of the fact that the wood moves and whatnot, but it sure does help get it in the roundabout area. So again, this project was definitely a lesson learned. I currently have another project on my lathe that is super punky, and the tear out is unreal. I think everything that I'm deciding to turn this week is just going to be problematic, or I should say just needs a little extra TLC. We'll just say it that way. And I went ahead and used the resin, and it's going to sit overnight with the resin, and I'm going to recut it. So that will be probably my next video next week, so that way you can see the difference between adding the CA glue and going through all the trouble I did, or just putting the resin with acetone and letting it sit overnight. And you can do this method, the resin and acetone method, with any epoxy resin. I'm not sure about polyurethanes or anything else, because I've used the fast, I've used the slow, and it all works. The acetone will evaporate and then the resin starts to cure. So it all depends on what kind of resin you start with. If it's a faster cure resin, then that fast resin that I used, the super fast Total Boat, it cured overnight. I just put it on and left it overnight. Thank you so much, all of my subscribers. I hit over 10,000 sometime last week, and I really appreciate all of you and the time you spend to watch the videos, your time you spend to send me emails and comment and like. And please don't forget, if you're not a subscriber already, please subscribe. And I truly appreciate every single one of you and all of your kind words as well. So I pray you enjoyed. And I also pray you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week to come. God bless.